Alright, so this week's video is going to be the St. Lawrence Company, the SLC, my experience. Alright, so the first part of this is join the Discord. So just a quick little overview. I wanted to do videos because there's not many videos on joining the official factions in Northwind. I wanted to do the British and the French. I got denied. According to the rules, I can't have two accounts with two characters, one in each faction. So no matter how much I love both of you, I had no choice. So I went with the St. Lawrence Company just because of historical and the fact that they've just been around helping me since day one, and they're very cool. I have nothing against any of the factions, but the British I just favored because of American history and just things they've done in game for me. So before you can do anything, you have to join the official Discord, which I'll list down here in the video. Once you join the official Discord, there's some rules and things that you have to go over. I think there's all kinds of pages, the heck of a handbook, the different companies, the different channels. You have to do that. So you can't even get into it. You won't even see a character slot, so to say, without joining the Discord. And once you're in the Discord and you get accepted, you'll get this extra character, which we'll talk about. And we'll do part of the series on. But yeah, you have to join the Discord before you can do anything. All right, the next part of this, like I said previously, is the new character slot. So there's a little confusion on this. I definitely kind of want to explain this because I had a hard time understanding it. You don't lose your colonist character. You don't lose your native character. You get a whole new character slot. So you'll get this third slot that doesn't even show in the game until you're officially in the SLC or the French, the NFC. Once you get this character slot, you don't lose any of your progression on your previous characters. You just basically start the game as a fresh new character. So with that being said, everything is 0. You don't have any professions done. You have to do all of that again. And there is one rule that I wasn't having to abide by because of my streaming and my content. This rule is you can't play your colonist or your native character. You can only play your NFC or SLC character. So you can only play your official faction character. So once you create your SLC character, that's who you're stuck with until you get discharged or leave the SLC. Streamers and content creators, the commanders, the guys that run the official faction or your company faction, the governors, they can make decisions to allow you to play yours. It's part of what I got accepted. I wasn't going to do this if I couldn't play Keikoa. He's my main character. He's what I do all this game on. He's who I relate to. I just wasn't going to do it. So with that being said, I got special permission. So don't think if you join the SLC that you're going to be able to keep playing your colonists. That's against the rules. So just remember that when you join the SLC or the NFC. Okay, the next part of this is in the outpost. All right, so after you've made your character and you saw the process of creating a character and you're going to start in this outpost. And once you start in the outpost, you're going to see people. People are usually there. They're doing their thing. They're practicing combat. The companies are hanging around, maybe doing some RP. They're chatting in Discord, all kinds of things. So from here, you get a lot of options. What I found was I didn't know where everything was, so I was kind of just roaming around. Now, as an SLC member, you get some benefits, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on the French side. You get to claim weapons and certain gear for free, at least once. I don't know if it's per day. I don't know if it's, per when you have it. Because I noticed if I had the musket, I couldn't claim the musket. But I can claim the carbine because I didn't have the carbine. So maybe it works that way. I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know. I'm still new. I'm not sure. But it's really cool. You can go through here. You talk to this guy. You can claim some bandages. You can claim some weapons. I claimed a cutlass. I claimed a musket, which is the Brown Bess musket, which is actually the real musket of the British, which kind of, I guess it started the actual mass production of weapons, because this Brown Bess musket is pretty much what they used during that time, the British, and they supplied most of their infantry with it. And I think the American colonists, it had become such a common item that the American colonists had it too. So when the war started on the American front here with the Revolutionary War, a lot of the colonists had it too. So I'm not sure how it worked in Canada, but I'm probably guessing it was kind of the same way. Again, I'm from the US. I don't really know much about the Canadian history other than I know in 1775 we tried to invade Quebec and it didn't work out very well. But when you start here, you can claim your weapons. You can claim, a bag, a sleeping bag, I guess a roll if you want to say. There's some bread in here. There's all kinds of things. I claimed a padlock. I claimed a key. There's just, you can claim it. So one of the nice things with that is, I did a video previously on this. How do you get your backup weapons? Well, with this, you always have access to backup weapons. So if you're killed, you're always going to start in this outpost. It's always going to put you in this outpost on whatever island you're at. And when you're in this outpost, you can just reclaim your weapon. So if somebody steals your Dorset pistol or somebody steals your saber or your axe or your brown bess musket, guess what, guys? You can just get another one. Not a big deal. So that's kind of cool. I really did like that. I do like the outpost. They have that look of the historical forts at the time. So it's really, really cool. But there's those little benefits, and I do like how everybody just kind of hangs in the outpost. It's kind of like being in Cantor or kind of like being in Beauville. You get to hang with everybody at the outpost. So that's really sweet. And I do think that a lot of guys in the companies have their own little mini outposts. So we'll talk about that too. But anyway, that's how the outpost starts. All right, so the next part of this is join a company. So the SLC is broken down into different companies. I want to say company 1, 2, and 3. I may be incorrect, but I know there's different companies. It's also broken down into specializations such as the rifles, which are the sharpshooters and rangers, the grenadiers, which protect the king, the guard. There's elite. I think there's elite ones. I think the grenadiers might be elite. I think I know there's the drum in musical corps. I can't say the word, but that little instrument. But they're part of it. So once you join the company, you get access to those Discord channels. I don't think you can see other people's companies unless you join them specifically, and I think you can only be in one company. SLC guys, you can comment and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know all the rules, to be honest with you. And that, once you join that company, you'll get, well, you got to talk to the I guess it's the person in charge, colonel, major. I don't, the structure still throws me a loop, but they'll get you in the company. You join the company, and at some point you're going to go through UBT, which is Universal Basic Training. I did go through that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I will break down the way things work. And once you're in that Discord and you're in that company, you pretty much have access to their voice chats, their text chats, all that good stuff. All right, the next part is the uniform, which by its own has its own little thing here. So I like red. So the uniform for the British definitely attracted me. I've always thought it was kind of cool back in history, although I think the British were a little ridiculous for wearing bright red uniforms and getting picked off by, colonists and natives and all kinds of, sharpshooters. But again, that's the British. They were the best at the time, and they had the most powerful navy and the most powerful army, so it makes sense. So the uniform. Once you get into the SLC and you get into a company, you're going to get a uniform code. You're going to paste that code into the chat of Northwind, and that's going to produce your colored uniform with the ranking system. So as you rank up, you get a patch on the side of your uniform that will rank up with you. So that's really kind of cool. Uniforms are you have to wear the uniform. You can't not. There is special units that have a little bit more of a lax policy on the uniform, but most of them do not from what I saw. So the other thing was the hat. I didn't get a chance to kind of see how this process worked, but I know there's contracts in the forts and the outposts to pick up hats from the other side. So I'm guessing the NFC has it too. So we'll go over that at some point. But yeah, those contracts you have to take the hats from the other people and turn them in. All right, this next part is going to be a little lengthy. It's UBT training, otherwise known as Universal Basic Training. So this is a requirement in the SLC where you have to go into Discord and there's a schedule. And that schedule is going to give you the different instructors in the different time zones that will teach you the basics of being part of the St. Lawrence Company and your own company. So this one's going to be lengthy and opinionated, and guys in the SLC, please don't take what I'm saying as negative in any shape or form. So I finally got into the UBT training on Saturday last weekend, and I was told by certain people that I didn't need to have my character in game for this. I could just listen. I was told there was a test, but I didn't think the test was going to be what it was. I thought it was going to be a couple quick questions with like the answers presented in front of you. So once I got into the UBT training, we all get there. There's a line of people. He's talking in Discord that he's going to do it, and we get there and we're all lined up. And he says that he's going to strike us with a knife if we get anything wrong. And if we get it wrong, we have 3 times before we're discharged and then have to take the UBT training again. So this right then and there, I'm like, I'm so confused with this because I was told that I didn't even need to be in game for this. So that kind of threw me a loop. So once we start going, we go over the structure and how you're supposed to refer to the governor, how you're supposed to refer to your commanding officer, those type of high-ranking officials. It's supposed to be yes, sir, yes, governor, sir, no, sir, and that just that was not floating with me in any shape or form because I just can't RP that. That's not how I want to RP my character. So that one was tough. Then we break it down, and he goes into the contracts. He breaks it down. He goes into the different structures and how it works, and who's commanding, and the colonels and the majors, and all that good stuff. So I'm listening. I'm paying attention. You're not allowed to talk unless you need to ask permission to talk. So finally, we get to the KOS, which is the kill on sight order. Now, this was my biggest issue, and this will always be my biggest issue. The kill on sight is you as an SLC member. It is your job to kill these guys if you see them. So if you see a French person or a French military guy, you are supposed to kill them on sight automatically. Which, I get it. I do. This part really just didn't float with me in any shape or form. Natives. You are supposed to kill a native as soon as you see them. So I asked for permission to speak and asked the question. I said, do I need to kill a native, or is it my choice to make that? And he said, well, I mean, it's part of the policy. If you see a native, you're supposed to kill the native. And I was like, well, deep down inside, I just don't agree with this. I love Native American lore. I follow Native American lore. I have read tons of books on Native American lore. My characters are based on Native Americans. Burning Trout, in my own mind, for his headcanon, is Keikoa's best friend. So with that being said, I just couldn't even do it. Even with Athal Payton, my new character, that just wasn't going to happen. So that one kind of struck me. So then comes the next part, which is the test. Now, here's my problem with the test. Number one, you guys didn't present any structure on the test of studying. So if you want the test to be serious, you should provide us with a study guide, and we should be able to study that test, right? I would think. But that was not the case. We went over everything, and then we were asked questions. And some of the questions weren't clear, at least in my opinion. So when the questions came in, I kind of misunderstood them. So when we got to the point at the end, we were supposed to crouch when we had the, this test was you put the answer down in chat, and when you're done, you crouch. So, and you had a very short amount of time to answer those questions. So I got a couple of them wrong. And, he laughed, which was cool. It was cool. I get it. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. That's what I thought you asked. I get struck by the knife. I get struck by the knife twice. I get struck by the knife 3 times. I then get that I need to now discharged. I am discharged from the UBT training, and I will have to retake it. By this point, in my own mind, I thought this was the silliest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. This reminded me of when I was trying to do RP in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and there was Jedi, and I just couldn't get into it. And I'm an RP person. I mean, I've grew up on D&D, so I don't know what my deal is with RP in games, but when I'm playing an RP game, it's hard for me to play something I'm not. So this was just silly, in my opinion. And guys, I don't mean anything negative by it. Please don't take what I'm saying negative. It's just my opinion. If you like structure and you are a military-based person and you're very much into studying military history, then maybe this is the right thing for you, but it is not the right thing for me. So needless to say, my reaction was to go into chat and say that this was not my thing and that I was removing myself, and if you wanted to ban me, you could. So I removed myself from the Discord, and I lost to Thal Payton, and I left. My choice. Nobody forced me. Nobody said anything negative. I just left. So that was what I did. So that was my experience with the UBT training. All right, so this is going to be my overall thoughts. So before we get into my long rant, I have nothing against any of the factions. I have nothing against the SLC. I have nothing against the NFC. I have nothing against any of the factions that are provided us through Northwind the game. With that being said, I don't think structure, rules, or RP of the British military are my thing. They're not made for the character I foresee in my head, which is Keikoa. I guess Kayber, whatever you want to say. But I don't foresee myself that way. I don't think official factions are meant for me. I don't know if I can fit into this mold of official factions. I did enjoy the SLC. I did enjoy the friendships. I did enjoy the people. I'll go on and tell you, I mean, like some of the greatest guys I've met in this game next to Boombuck are these guys in the SLC. I mean, Wally is awesome. He's been helping me since I started. Caesar was with him. Those guys are great. Josiah, nothing but positive to say about Josiah. Josiah is awesome. He's been helping me with combat. He helped me with some of these videos in this video. He's great. He helped me, with fights. He's awesome. Awesome dude. Walter Black, the commanding officer in the 3rd company that I was in, the guy's been amazing. He reached out to me constantly. He pinged me on Discord. He explained everything to me. He kept in communication with me. He helped, get me going. He was very, very, very good. Just all around good dude. Just really good to work with. Nizo got me into this. It's just been great. I enjoy the people here. I enjoy the guys in the SLC. I can say the same about some of the French guys too. I've met some cool guys from the French side too. So it's nothing about the factions. I have nothing against the factions. I just don't think that I can RP my character the way I probably should. And it's hard for me because I grew up, like I said, I grew up on roleplay. I get roleplay, but for some reason, I have a hard time with this. Maybe it's the structures and the rules at the time, but it just doesn't fit me sometimes. Now, would I give it a shot again? Yeah, probably. I probably would. Like I said, I have no hard feelings in any shape or form. I really enjoyed my time there. So here's my biggest gripe, and you guys are going to probably think I'm nuts for this, but my biggest gripe is losing the 3rd character slot. I am an altoholic, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love making characters. Everybody's got a headcanon, everybody's got a story. So with Thal Payton, he was born, he had a story, he's in the military. I was trying to fit, I was trying to do it, and I'm very upset about losing that character. So that's probably nuts because you guys are like, well, all this drama that went on, all you're worried about is the character. Yes, I am. I'm actually just worried about the character. But all in all, wasn't a bad experience in any shape or form. It was a positive experience. The guys were great. I don't agree with the UBT training. I wanted to re-record the ending of this because I did hear that a lot of things changed after my ordeal, and I had already made this video. So I wanted to make an edit on this. I heard that I tried to put the text in here so you guys could see it. I heard a lot of things changed. So, the native policy changed. There's talk of the testing changing. There's, different policies. They're trying to work with the time. They're trying to make things easier. So I think as a game, Northwind is amazing. And I think that this game has so much potential and can be so much more. I'm a history buff. I love it. It's become my favorite game. And I'm a big WoW SOTOR player, but I love this, and I really have enjoyed my time in the SLC. I've met some great people. Like I said, I don't think I'm a good fit for the SLC. I'm gonna push my Ranger faction that I made, which is the Mountain Man, Frontier Man that I envision Keiko as being. So that's that's what I see, and I don't feel that it. If you want to do this, if you want to be part of this war and you want to pick a side, there's good guys in every side. I'm sure there's bad guys too. We all know that. But the SLC, I would say these guys are good. These guys are really, really good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I might even go back. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. But these guys are great. It's a fun time. They're always there. It's like a brotherhood. They're always there for you when you need them. They've been protecting me since I started playing this game. So that's awesome. But all in all, that's what I wanted to say. I hope you guys like my review. I have no hard feelings in any shape or form about the SLC and my decision. Like I said, I just didn't agree with a lot of the stuff. And my overall thought was that UBT training and the native thing really bothered me. So I'm old and grumpy, guys. But anyway, check out the live streams. And thank you so much for being around and doing this with me. I really enjoy it. So thank you.